You grew up with slammed doors, shouting, "I hate you! You're ruining my life!" Teenage rebellion used to be loud, messy, explosive. But your teenager? No yelling, no door slamming, no dramatic fights. Just, okay, whatever. They don't argue with you. They don't rebel. They just aren't really there anymore. And that silence can feel peaceful at first, until one day you realize something unsettling. You don't actually know who your teenager is anymore. Because the scariest teens aren't the loud ones. The scariest teens quietly decide something powerful. You can control what I do, but you don't get access to who I am. And that's when something shifts. You didn't lose your teen in a fight. You lost them in silence. Let's break down why modern teens often aren't rebelling the way previous generations did, and why emotional detachment is replacing rebellion entirely. 1. You made rebellion too expensive. Old school rebellion followed a predictable script. Parents said no, teenagers yelled, parents punished them, everyone sulked. Eventually, life went back to normal. It was chaotic, but at least there was contact. Now, many teenagers have quietly run a different calculation. If I argue, I lose. If I protest, I lose harder. But if I just nod and stay quiet, I lose less. So they stop fighting. Not because they agree with you, because they've optimized the strategy. Rebellion now becomes something quieter. Instead of shouting, fine, okay, whatever. But internally, the message changes to something else. I'll do what you want in front of you, but you'll never know the real version of me. Parents sometimes think they successfully eliminated rebellion, but in reality, something more complicated happened. Rebellion didn't disappear, it evolved. It moved from visible resistance to silent disengagement. And once that shift happens, it becomes much harder to repair. Because the teen who rolls their eyes and shouts, "This isn't fair," still believes a relationship can change. But the teen who shrugs and says, "Whatever," has already left the conversation emotionally. 2. When every feeling becomes a lecture. Picture this moment. Your teenager says, "School sucked today." You respond, "Why?" They start explaining, "People were being weird in class." And before they finish, you jump into problem-solving mode. Did you try ignoring them? When I was your age, you need to focus on your work. You're not trying to dismiss them, you're trying to help. But here's how their brain translates that interaction. If I share feelings, I get a lecture instead of a person. So they adapt. Instead of saying what they actually feel, they switch to minimal responses. "I'm fine. It's nothing. I don't know." Psychologically, this makes sense. Humans repeat behaviors that reduce stress, and silence is low effort. Explaining emotions? That's exhausting if the result is advice you didn't ask for. So they stop rebelling. They stop opening up. They enter emotional low-power mode. 3. Surveillance changed the game. Parenting today often includes tools previous generations never had. Location sharing, security cameras, phone monitoring, password access, random phone checks. From a parent's perspective, this is about safety. But from a teen's perspective, it can feel like living in a very polite surveillance system. There's no space left for traditional rebellion. Sneaking out? GPS will expose it. Hidden social media? Parents eventually find it. Secret phones? Eventually discovered. So teens adapt again. Instead of escaping physically, they escape psychologically. They stop revealing their inner world. They become polite, compliant, emotionally unavailable. Some teens even develop a strategy psychologists call gray rock method. It means becoming intentionally boring and emotionally neutral to avoid conflict. Short answers, no strong opinions, no emotional reactions. From the outside, it looks like maturity. From the inside, it's self-protection. Parents sometimes say proudly, "My teen never rebels." But the reality can sometimes be closer to, "My teen learned that anything external can be discovered, so they moved everything internal." And that internal world becomes invisible. 4. when the perfect kid isn't always healthy. Every parent dreams of an easy teenager. Good grades, no drama, helpful at home, never argues. But there's a darker version of that child, the one who never asks for help, never complains, never tells you what they actually want, because they've quietly learned something. If I just do everything right, nobody will look too closely at how I feel. This looks responsible, but sometimes it's something psychologists worry deeply about: emotional shutdown. Instead of saying, "You can't control me," detached teens say something very different. "You can control my behavior. I'll just delete the part of me that needs anything from you." Rebellious teens drive parents crazy. Detached teens worry therapists, because rebellion means the relationship still matters. Detachment means the teen is already preparing to live without it. 5. When honesty became dangerous. Most teens try honesty at least once. They open up about something real: loneliness, anxiety, feeling like they don't fit in. And what happens next often determines everything. Sometimes parents panic. "Are you okay? Why didn't you tell me sooner? Is it because of your friends? Is it because of us?" Other times, the vulnerability becomes a lecture. "This is why you need to focus more." Or worse, it becomes a future interrogation. "How's your anxiety now? Are you still feeling weird?" Teens notice all of this. That moment teaches them something important. Not that they were dramatic, but that honesty creates more stress than silence. And rebellion requires energy. Detachment requires almost none. So they choose the strategy that hurts less: being misunderstood, but peaceful. 6. When teens become afraid of their own anger. Another quiet pattern appears in many families. Parents explode when angry, but expect teens to stay calm. Parents punish tone instead of listening to the message. Over time, many teens learn something dangerous: anger isn't safe. When I show anger, I lose everything. So they suppress it. They stop saying, "This isn't fair. I'm upset. I disagree." From the outside, this looks like emotional control, but from the inside, something else is happening. Anger gets swallowed. Resentment builds slowly, and sometimes it transforms into a silent fantasy. "I'll leave when I'm 18 and never come back." The rebellion didn't disappear. It just became invisible. 7. The real warning sign parents miss. The old red flag in parenting was defiance. The new red flag is indifference. Detached teens often show patterns like minimal answers: "I don't know. It's fine." "No opinions. Whatever you want. I don't care." Surface level conversations only. Always wearing headphones. Rarely initiating contact. None of these alone are alarming, but together they form something psychologists call emotional withdrawal. And emotional withdrawal isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's slow. It's a gradual emotional exit from the relationship. The teen isn't rebelling anymore. They're disappearing. Part 2. How to reach a teen who has already checked out. Here's the hopeful part. Emotional detachment isn't permanent. Teens don't detach because they don't care. They detach because caring became painful. And that means the relationship can still change. But the repair doesn't start with a lecture. It starts with changing the rules of the relationship. 1. Replace interrogation with curiosity. Instead of, "Why would you do that?" try something different. "I'm not here to attack you. Help me understand what it felt like from your side." You're inviting a story instead of demanding a defense, and stories reconnect people. 2. Treat small openings like gold. If a detached teen shares even a small detail, protect that moment. If they say, "School was rough today," don't immediately interrogate. Try something softer. "Rough how? Annoying rough or heavy rough?" Then wait. Silence can feel uncomfortable for parents, but it gives teens space to continue. 3. Admit the pattern out loud. One of the most powerful things a parent can say is, "I noticed you don't really argue with me anymore." And honestly, that doesn't feel like a win. It makes me wonder if I made it hard for you to disagree. This kind of honesty disarms defensiveness. It tells the teen something important. You see the distance, and you're willing to own your part. That alone can reopen a door. 4. Lower the stakes for honesty. Tell them something simple. If you're honest with me, even about things I won't like, I might need a minute to process, but I won't punish you for telling the truth. Then, prove it. The first few times they test this promise are crucial. Your reaction matters more than your advice. The real rebellion to worry about. Most parents fear rebellion, but rebellion isn't the biggest threat to the relationship. Absences. The teen who shouts, "You don't understand me," still believes you could. The teen who shrugs and disappears into their phone has quietly decided something else. You don't get the real version of me anymore. That decision isn't permanent, but reversing it requires something many parents rarely say. Not a lecture, not advice, just honesty. I miss you. Not just seeing you, knowing you. Because teenagers don't stop rebelling because everything is fine. They stop rebelling when they believe nothing they say will change anything. Give them proof that their voice still matters, and you might be surprised how quickly the real version of your child begins to come back.